This is KI0AR. Does anyone need to use the repeater before I begin this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net? Please go ahead now. Astronomy Net, please go ahead now. Calling the Colorado Astronomy Net, calling the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is KI0AR. I'll be your net control for this evening. Excuse me. My name is Bernice, and I'll be your net control for this evening. Just a reminder, the 3-minute timeout function is still in effect, so during long transmissions, please allow the repeater to reset itself. This net meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0200 Zulu, to discuss topics of an astronomical nature, what's up in the night skies for the week, any other special events that may be of interest to the amateur radio astronomy enthusiasts around the world. Also, this is one of the few nets where your check-in does count. I tally up the numbers and send them off to JPL at the end of each month. It counts as part of their outreach to the general public, of which we are a part, so all check-ins are definitely appreciated. Also, please use the word break for emergency or prior to traffic. If there is an emergency or prior to traffic, please go ahead now. Okay, nothing heard. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I take check-ins several ways. If you happen to be on NetLogger, I will definitely get you checked in via that way. I'm also on YouTube this evening, so if you want to check in via YouTube, definitely say hey. In fact, hello from Jimmy Farkle. So welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Let's see, Jimmy, if you've got a call sign, that would be great. If not, if you would post your location on the in the chat there, I would appreciate it. I do like to talk to everybody, that all the new check-ins, especially if you've got an amateur radio hookup as well. So always like to welcome all the new people on the net. Let's see, I got a few other people popping up over there on. Let me just do it that way. Okay. All right, we got you, Nashville, Tennessee. All right. Okay, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Like I said, I take check-ins several ways. I apologize, a little scatterbrained this evening. Take them via NetLogger, YouTube, over the air, of course. We'll get around to that in just a few minutes. And via email. If you're out there listening and have no other way to check in, you can send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and let me know you're out there. First name, location will be great. So I'm going to let this thing pause, and then I'll see who has. All right, Jimmy, great. Just listen in. We'll get you pointed in the right direction for amateur radio. Lots of us on here tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I think I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge those check-ins I've got so far. We've got Moy, N5ZIQ, thanks for checking in tonight. Roy, KI7PKL, thanks for checking in tonight. Doug, K0ATP, thanks for checking in tonight. Randall, AE7RJ, thanks for checking in tonight. Mike, KO5AOK, thanks for checking in tonight. And Jimmy in Nashville, thanks for checking in tonight via YouTube. All right. All right, we'll hold on for that for a little while, Jimmy over there on YouTube. So thanks for that. For those of you who are new to the Colorado Astronomy Net, I'm going to take some more check-ins over the air. Got some announcements, got some local astronomical news, got some bulletins, and we got a rocket report tonight. And then after the rocket report, I like to go down the list and talk with everybody on the list as well, find out what they're looking at and any other things they'd like to share with the net tonight. And let's see. Ha ha ha. There you go. The Pleiades was a little dipper forever to me until I found out last night. Yeah, a totally different part of the sky. Yeah, that would be a little tiny dipper, more like a teaspoon over there. Yeah, the Big Dipper and Little Dipper are towards the north, and the Pleiades are towards the south in the constellation of Taurus there. All right, Ed, we got you on the list, W6RDZ. Thanks for checking in tonight. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically, please.
X-ray 0, Alpha Bravo Echo. X-ray 0, Alpha Bravo Echo, Abraham and Sterling. Kilo 3 of County 18. First from Hermitage, Tennessee.
Okay, Abraham, is that a new call you got? Let me make sure I got it on the correct. I think I got, yeah, excuse me, I was slightly interrupted there. Bruce, K3HY, thanks for checking in tonight. Abraham, would you give me your call sign again, please? I'd appreciate it.
Kilo 0, India Foxtrot Tango, Terry and Falcon. Confirm, it is a new call sign. It's Whiskey X-ray 0, Alpha Bravo Echo. Whiskey X-ray 0, Alpha Bravo Echo. Whiskey X-ray 0, Alpha Bravo Echo.
All right, Abraham, appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. Whiskey X-ray 0 Alpha Bravo Echo. Thanks for checking in tonight. Ken, we got you on the list. NV7SS, thanks for checking in tonight. The other Kilo station that doubled with Abraham the second time around, if you could give me your call sign, a Kilo 0. I missed that. If you could give me your call sign again, I'll get you checked in. Go ahead. Okay, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. If I have not acknowledged your call sign, I do not have you on the list. So anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. All right, I'll get into the announcements. I publish a monthly astronomy newsletter via email and the World Wide Web. If you wish to subscribe to the email version of my newsletter, please send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list, or you may visit the website at www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. And at the top of the web page is a spot where you can enter your email address and get subscribed to the email version of the newsletter as well. If you don't want to remember all that, just Google my call sign, KI0AR. You'll find a whole bunch of links, including links to the webpage and the newsletter. I also volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies, a youth group that meets out of Strasbourg on Friday evenings from 6 until 8 p.m. Always looking for new members, freshmen through senior high school age students interested in astronomy, amateur radio, high power rocketry, remote control aircraft flying, full scale aircraft construction, archaeoastronomy, radio astronomy, and balloon launch communications. More than welcome to visit our website at www.iaas.org for more information. Also, check out their Facebook page under the same name, the International Association for Astronomical Studies. Also, a reminder that the Colorado Astronomy Net also has a Facebook page. So if you happen to have Facebook, be sure to hop on there and like us both. Also, the IAAS has their own club call sign, which is K0AAS. If you happen to hear them on the air, definitely give them a shout and say, hey, was trying to get a couple of the young ladies to talk on the radio last week, but they were definitely mic shy. Maybe I'll have to give that, start them off a little bit and get them used to speaking on the radio. But we'll see how that goes. What else? On Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m., Jack, KE0VH, hosts his flights on YouTube under Captain Jack Flight Sim, CAPNJACKFLTSIM. He has flights all over the place. He's doing flights this week in honor of the Olympics, so he'll be flying a DC-3 over the some of the Olympic venues over in Italy. So that means low and slow, and some of those low and slow flights are rather interesting since he'll be flying that DC-3 over those particular areas. And the software that he has does render what he sees out through the cockpit quite effectively. So you may want to check out his flight simulations. Again, 6:30 p.m. on YouTube, Captain Jack Flight Sim. And that's it for the announcements. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm looking to see if there is anybody else wishing to check in tonight. I don't see anyone else over on NetLogger or YouTube. So, and I just checked the email. Anyone else wishing to check in tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically, please. Phonetically twice.
Kilo Charlie 4, Zulu Yankee Charlie. Kilo Charlie 4, Zulu, Yankee, Charlie. Good evening, Burris.
Okay, good evening to you, Howard. KC4, ZYC, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, I'll go ahead and get into the local astronomical news. Start off, as usual, with the phases of the moon. We had a full moon back on the 1st. We had a last quarter moon yesterday on the 9th. We got a new moon coming up on the 17th, a first quarter moon on the 24th. So we got nice dark sky evenings for planetary observing for the next couple of weeks. We got the moon. The moon will be at apogee. It's farthest point away from the Earth. This month, today, it is 251,392 miles from Earth. The moon will be at perigee, its closest approach to the Earth this month. On the 24th, it will be 229,991 miles from Earth. Planetary highlights for February. Mercury, Venus, and Saturn put on an early evening display in the west, while Jupiter dominates the rest of the night. Jupiter features many events involving its 4 major moons that are well worth chasing down. A remote annular eclipse of the sun occurs on the 17th, visible only from Antarctica. Excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, February 2026, page 28. On with the individual planets. We got Mercury. Mercury will be at its greatest eastern elongation, or about 18 degrees east of the sun, on the 19th. That means it is trailing the sun, and you can find it over towards the west. Mercury will be stationary on the 25th. Mercury is now setting about 6:39 p.m. this week. Mercury is visible about 30 minutes after sunset low to the west. Mercury moves from the constellation of Capricornus into Pisces, shining at magnitude minus 0.9 on the 15th. A quick tutorial on magnitudes. The magnitude scale is an inverse logarithmic scale, meaning as the magnitude increases, the apparent brightness of an object decreases by a factor of about 2.5. The dimmest object that the human eye can see under optimal conditions is about 6th magnitude, but you definitely need to be well away from city lights for that. If you're here in Denver, about 4th magnitude is about what you might be able to see. A magnitude 5 object is 2.5 times brighter than a magnitude 6 object, while a magnitude 7 object is 2.5 times dimmer. Anything greater than 6 magnitude, you'll definitely need binoculars or a telescope to spot through. Anything lower than that, you should be able to see with the naked eye. However, all of these other objects, you probably want to put a telescope up to it to get the finer details. Especially like Venus. Venus sets about 8:06 p.m. this week. Look for Venus low to the west about 30 minutes after sunset. Venus moves from the constellation of Capricornus into Aquarius, shining at magnitude minus 3.9. So very, very bright Venus towards the west. Then we got Mars. Mars is rising about 6:46 a.m. This week. Look for Mars low to the east in the morning about 30 minutes before sunrise. Mars moves from the constellation of Capricornus into Aquarius, shining at magnitude 1.1. And then we got Jupiter. Jupiter is rising about 2:25 p.m. in the afternoon. Look for Jupiter towards the east in the early evening. Then follow it through the night sky as it sets in the early morning hours before dawn. Jupiter is very prominent right after sunset towards the east, probably about 30 degrees above the eastern horizon. Very prominent in the constellation of Gemini, shining at magnitude minus 2.5. Definitely point a telescope or binoculars towards this planet. It's still at its best for the year for observing. Another planet towards the west will be Saturn. Saturn is setting about 8:30 p.m. this week. Look for Saturn towards the west in the evening sky soon after sunset. Saturn is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 1.0. And then we have Uranus was stationary on the 3rd, meaning that it appears to move neither forward nor backward relative to the background skies. Uranus sets about 1:30 a.m. this week. Look for Uranus to the southwest in the evening. Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 5.7. Even though this object is within the naked eye range of being less than 6th magnitude, you still will want to put some binoculars or a telescope to see the color. Uranus is kind of a light greenish with a little bit of blue thrown in there just for fun. Greenish dot up in the skies. So look for that. Next we have Neptune. Neptune is setting about just a couple of minutes before Saturn at 8:43 p.m. This week. Look for Neptune towards the west in the evening near Saturn by just a few minutes all month. Saturn is in retrograde right now, so watch Neptune appear to pass by Saturn as the month progresses. In fact, that's already occurred. Neptune is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 7.8. Actually, Saturn will be passing just south of Neptune on the 15th, so look for that. All right. Neptune, same thing at 7.8, definitely 6.8 magnitudes dimmer than Saturn. But should be relatively easy to spot if you take a pair of binoculars or a telescope and move just a little bit less than a degree or a little less than 2 full moon widths right above it. You'll see a little bluish dot, bluish with a little bluish dot with a little bit of green in it. So take a look for that. The difference between looking at a star through a telescope and looking at a planet is that the planets will show a discernible disk, while stars look like pinpoints. So you'll see a round disk with Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, etc. However, as you get closer in with Venus and Mercury, you're going to see crescents of those 2 planets. You're not going to see the full face of either of those planets. However, the ones that are further out from Earth, you will see. For our dwarf planets, we have Ceres. Let's see, Ceres is setting about 10 p.m. this week. Ceres can be spotted low to the west following Saturn and Neptune. Sirius moves from the constellation of Cetus into Pisces, shining at magnitude 9.1. Then we have Pluto. Pluto is rising. What time is it rising? It is rising about 5:45 a.m. This week. Pluto is lost in the sun's twilight glow for most of the month. Pluto is in the constellation of Capricornus, shining at magnitude 15.2. As always, good luck at spotting Neptune, Ceres, and Pluto. A large telescope and dark skies will be needed. All right. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Continuing. We have meteor showers. Major meteor showers skip February altogether. Random or sporadic meteors from ancient streams long since dispersed produce maybe about a half dozen meteors per hour, but we'll have to know specific dates on those, unfortunately. Meteors are always best seen after midnight under a dark moonless sky. In the run-up to dawn, you're sitting on Earth's leading hemisphere as it orbits the sun, resulting in higher velocities as any cometary detritus enters the atmosphere. Also visible on moonless evenings in February is the zodiacal light. This dim glow, aligned with the ecliptic, extends steeply above the western horizon well after the low arc of the twilight glow has diminished. From completely dark locations, the zodiacal light is almost as bright as the Milky Way. The cone extends upward through Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries. A line connecting Mercury and Saturn shows the way. Scan your eyes left and right, and your peripheral vision will pick up the cone-shaped glow. The middle of the month, starting after February 6th, is the best time to look, with the bright moon out of the evening sky. This excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, February 2026, page 29. So if you do get out there this week into some dark sky areas and look towards the west and see if you can see that zodiacal light for sure. Okay, comets. We do have one comet. Comet C 2024 E1 Wirchos is leaving the southern hemisphere, dimming to about 6 magnitude for northern hemisphere observers. Comet Wirchos is passing from the constellation of Sculptor into Cetus and into Eridanus by the end of the month. So right now, you have to wait a little while. It's still in the constellation of Sculptor, which is going to be very, very low. Towards the eastern horizon and moving up towards the south and east a little bit from Cetus up through Eridanus, but still be very, very low. You will need binoculars or a telescope to see this cometary fuzzball. And we do have an annular solar eclipse occurring on the 17th. Visible only from Antarctica. An annular eclipse is when the moon is farther away from the Earth or closer to its apogee. So which creates an annulus or a ring of fire. You'll see the sun making a ring around the moon because the moon is farther away. When you see a total solar eclipse, that means the moon is closer to the Earth at that point. And the closer it is, the longer that totality will last. In this case, it won't last because the moon is farther away. You won't see a total eclipse of the sun on that 17th, just an annular one. But take a look. You might check out the internet, and you might be able to watch something broadcast from Antarctica on that one. And that's it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. All right. We got Jack checked in via YouTube there, KE0VH. He's doing some practice flying right now, so thanks, Jack. Let's see. Joseph. Okay, Joseph Dockett. Welcome to the net. We'll get you on there. Thanks for checking in. That may be a new one as well. I do believe it is. Lots of good questions over there. So thanks for that. Actually, maybe I'll just go right into that in just a sec. All right, let's see. What's my opinion of the upcoming alignment? This does happen every now and then, where you get a whole bunch of planets on one side. In fact, they're all, they look like they're pretty darn close to the sun. You got Mercury, you got Venus, you got Saturn, Neptune, you got Ceres thrown in there, you got Jupiter on the other side, you got Uranus up there as well. We've actually let's see, in the last 30 years, this actually has happened a couple of times where the planets are all not exactly aligned, but they're all visible in the evening, or a lot of them are visible in the evening sky. No significant gravitational pull or anything like that. No disasters in the future. It just happens to be one of those things where those planets are actually on the opposite side of the sun, and the big things that are pulling on the Earth are actually the moon and the sun. The effects of the planets especially when they're on the opposite side of the sun, are near zero. 0.000000001 maybe in there. Jupiter does have a slight influence, but when it's so far away on the opposite side of the sun, nothing's going to happen. Just enjoy it. Be able to go out there and check out a half a dozen planets in the evening sky for sure, and see if you can actually spot them. The only two that you're not going to see until the early morning are Mars and Pluto, and Pluto is definitely going to be, you're not going to see that. It's way too close to the well, it's actually pretty darn close. It's actually on the opposite side of the sun as well. So technically it is in alignment as well. And they're all on the opposite side of the sun. So not much is going to really occur. Definitely it's kind of neat that we're on one side of the sun, and most of the rest of the planets are on the opposite side. If you want to read something into it, go right ahead. Just enjoy the view. All right, let's see. Yep, all right. The moon phases and the planets align. Yep, there you go. All right. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Got some bulletins for you. That let me go ahead and pause here to see if there are any more check-ins. We got Joseph Dockett over there. Joseph, if you've got a call sign, I'd love to see that posted. If not, that's great too. Thanks for listening over there on YouTube. But I'd like to put down your location. City, state would be great. And so I can add that to my log. This is one of the few nets where your check-in does count. I do tally up these numbers and send them off to JPL. All the likes over there on YouTube and my subscribers as well as views, send them off to JPL, and of course everybody that's checking in over the radio as well, get you on the list. Send those numbers to JPL. All right. Let me pause here to see if there are any more check-ins, and I'll get into the bulletin. Anyone else wish to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
Burgess, we'll go ahead and make a check-in by radio here. KE0VH, Kilo Echo Zero Victor Hotel.
All right, Jack, we got you on the list, KE0VH. Jack, would you like to tell everybody what you're going to be doing for your flight tomorrow evening? I did mention it a little bit, but you may want to give some more details. Go ahead, Jack, KE0VH. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Yeah, okay, Burgess, very good, very good. Yeah, tomorrow night on the Captain Jack Flight Sim channel, going to be flying around the Olympic cities of Milan and Cortina. Let me get my record, Cortina. And we'll be flying low and slow into DC-3. We did a flight from London last night of my live stream to Milan and landed at the city airport. So, yeah, tomorrow night we'll do some exploring around the city of Milan and fly up to Cortina and around where they're doing some of the Olympic venues celebrating the 2026 Olympics in my Captain Jack Flight Sim channel. So there you go, Burgess. Thank you very much. Good evening to everybody around the net. Thanks for being part of Sky Hub Link. Back to net, this is KE0VH.
All right, Jack, I'm looking forward to it. For sure, I'll be there. Thanks for that update. Appreciate you checking in too. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll start off with visible ISS passes. For those of you who may be interested in ISS passes over your particular area, you may want to check out this website, www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. I do suggest that you sign up for that, and then you can put in your home coordinates for the times of particular visible ISS passes over your area. It actually has all passes of the ISS, so if you want to try to communicate, see what lifts in, it's got all of the passes for the next 10 days. So check that out. Right now we're talking about visible ISS passes over the Denver area. The one thing I like about this website is I can go ahead and click on one particular pass. In fact, this pass is over the Denver area at 6 in the morning, 6:02 on the 12th, 6:02 a.m. The ISS travels from the southwest to the east-northeast, peaking about 68 degrees over the southeast horizon. A solid 6.5 minute pass. One of the better ones, but you definitely have to get up early. The one thing I like about this particular pass is you can print out a nice 8.5 by 11 star chart of the particular pass of interest. In this case, you can see the ISS passing through Corvus, Virgo, Corona Borealis area, through Hercules, right through Lyra and very close to Vega. So nice bright stars that is passing through, right through Cygnus the Swan as well. So great morning pass, and you can take this outside and see where that particular pass is coming from through the skies. And you don't have to worry about fumbling around with a small cell phone of some sort or an iPad or something like that. And then once you're done with it, you can mark, put annotations on there, especially if you're trying to record it or something like that, and keep it for posterity. Or when you're done, you can ball it up and throw it in the recycle bin. So that's actually rather convenient, and a nice, it's not quite an 8.5 by 11, but you can certainly blow it up to that size if you want. I'll show you the piece of paper for those of you who are over on YouTube. You can definitely see that over there. And here's the the size of what you see on the star chart, and you'll have to look at it by looking up at it to orient yourself to the star chart. Again, that website is www.heavens-above.com. And that's it for that bulletin. All right, tonight we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Colorado Astronomy Net. Actually, the anniversary was back on the 6th, so we completed 30 years on the air. And I don't think we've missed any of the Tuesday nights. So there you go. That's an accomplishment in itself. But what I wanted to do is pull up some astronomical news on the changes. So many changes have occurred over the last 30 years in astronomy. With new satellites and new techniques for finding things, all of that kind of stuff. AI, for instance, I did a quick search for that. In the last 30 years, astronomy has undergone a paradigm shift, moving from data-starved science to one of high-precision mapping and multi-messenger discovery. The most significant changes include the exoplanet revolution. In 1994, we knew of only a few planets around a pulsar. Today, we have confirmed over 5,500 exoplanets orbiting other stars. The key discovery: we now know that almost every star in the Milky Way likely has at least one planet. Major missions, the Kepler Space Telescope and TESS, transformed our understanding from "are there other worlds" to which ones might be habitable. So big change there with the exoplanets. We are not alone as far as that's concerned. We kind of figured there would be. You got stars, and stars have planets. So just about even double stars and some triple stars, I think, have some sort of planetary activity around them as well. We've got hot Jupiters and giant stars that are even more massive than Jupiter itself. Hot Jupiters orbiting even closer than the orbit of Mercury. So think of Jupiter moving in an orbit even half the distance between Mercury and the Sun. Dark energy in the accelerating universe. In 1998, observations of distant supernova revealed that the expansion of the universe is not slowing down, it is accelerating. The impact. This led to the discovery of dark energy, a mysterious force making up roughly 68% of the universe. And the crisis. Recent data from the Dark Energy Survey and the James Webb Space Telescope suggests dark energy might actually evolve over time, challenging the standard model of cosmology. So lots going on with that too. Multi-messenger astronomy. For centuries, we only saw the universe through light. In 2015, the LIGO Observatory detected gravitational waves, ripples in space-time caused by colliding black holes. A new sense. We can now hear cosmic events, allowing us to study dark objects that emit no light. And neutrinos. The detection of high-energy neutrinos from distant galaxies like those found in the IceCube Neutrino Observatory has added a third messenger to our toolkit. And there's actually a neutrino detector down in Antarctica, one up in Canada, a couple all over, several others as well. So lots of discoveries with that. We also have the direct imaging of black holes. Once purely theoretical or inferred, black holes have now been seen. The first photo in 2019, the Event Horizon Telescope released the first ever image of a black hole's shadow in the galaxy M87. Our own backyard in 2022, they captured Sagittarius A, the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way. Precision mapping of the Milky Way. The Gaia mission, launched in 2013, has created the most detailed 3D map of our galaxy, charting the positions and motions of nearly 1.8 billion stars. This has revealed that our galaxy is much more alive and chaotic than previously thought, with evidence of past galactic mergers. The rise of mega telescopes. Technology has shifted from single mirror telescopes to massive arrays of space-based giants. JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope, launched in 2021, is looking back to the cosmic dawn to see the very first galaxies formed after the Big Bang. And citizen science. Platforms like Zooniverse now allow hundreds of thousands of volunteers to help professional astronomers sort through the massive big data generated by non-modern surveys. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Continuing. Here are some other significant shifts in the field of astronomy. The big data era and AI. In 1994, astronomers spent nights at telescopes manually observing a handful of objects. Today, astronomy is a data science. Survey science. Facilities like the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, coming online soon, will take 20 terabytes of data every night, essentially filming a movie of the southern sky. Machine learning. Human eyes can no longer keep up. AI is now used to identify gravitational lenses, classify galaxy shapes, and spot transients, things that blink or explode in real time. Pluto's demolition and the Kuiper Belt. In the 90s, we thought the solar system ended at Pluto. We now know Pluto is just one of the largest members of the Kuiper Belt. the reclassification. The discovery of Eris in 2005, which is more massive than Pluto, forced the International Astronomical Union to redefine what a planet is in 2006. Small bodies, missions like New Horizons, the Pluto flyby, and the OSIRIS-REx, the asteroid sample return, have shown that space rocks are chemically complex and may have delivered the building blocks of life to Earth. The missing baryon problem and the IgM. For a long time, we couldn't find about half of the normal matter or atoms that should exist in the universe. And the discovery. Astronomers recently used fast radio bursts, or FRBs, mysterious millisecond-long radio pulses from deep space, as probes. The result, by seeing how these pulses dispersed, they confirmed that the missing matter is hiding as thin, hot gas in the intergalactic medium, or IgM, between galaxies. Solar system physics, solar physics, or touching the sun. Our understanding of our own star has been revolutionized by the Parker Solar Probe launched in 2018. Breaking records. It is the fastest human-made object ever and the first to touch the sun's corona. Why it matters. We are finally solving the mystery of why the sun's outer atmosphere, the corona, is millions of degrees hotter than its surface. Water throughout the solar system. 30 years ago, we thought of Earth as the only water world. We now know the solar system is drenched in it. Ocean worlds. We've confirmed that moons like Europa around Jupiter and Enceladus around Saturn have liquid water oceans beneath icy shells. Mars. We moved from wondering if Mars was ever wet to finding evidence of ancient lakes, rivers, and even briny liquid water existing under the Martian surface today. Let's see, what else? Well, we've covered a lot of the the Mars probes over the years as well. One thing that wasn't touched on is when I started the net, Pluto was the farthest object out, what we called the planetary object at that time. It got demoted to a dwarf planet at the time, but it moved within the orbit of Neptune and has since moved outside of the orbit of Neptune. Neptune, for a decade or so, was the farthest planet out. And actually, technically, it still is, if you want to count dwarf planets, or not count the dwarf planets. But right now, Pluto has moved outside of the orbit of Neptune. So that's one of the things that has occurred over the years. When we go down the list, you guys can also share other events that may not have been mentioned here as what you may have remembered over the last 30 years with astronomy. I'd love to hear that. Okay, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. That's it for the bulletins for this evening. I'm going to pass the net over to Ed, W6RDZ, for this evening's rocket report. W6RDZ, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Are you ready to give the rocket report for tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, Ernest, and good evening to the net. This is W6RDZ. Your rocket man tonight with the rocket report. I'm going to turn it back over to you for just a minute there, Ernest, and give me a quick report. How's
Ed, you're a solid copy into the repeater this evening. Go ahead. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
All right, it's Rocket Man Etiquette, W6RDZ for the Colorado Astronomy Net, the Rocket Report. We're going to look here at last week's launches. Now looking back to a week ago, the third. We just had 3 launches this week, one SpaceX, one Russian, and one Chinese. First launch of the week was on Thursday, February 5th. Roscosmos launched an unnamed Cosmos mission on a Soyuz 2.1B gas and rocket from Site 43-4 at the Placet Cosmodrome in Russia. The payload was not disclosed. All right, that then moves us second launch of the week, Friday, February 6th. China Aerospace and Science Corporation Caspix, they launched a Long March 2M/T rocket from the Jiaquan Satellite Launch Center in China. The payload is believed to be the probable 4th launch of China's experimental space plane, the SSHQ. Then we're going to look to the third launch of the week, the last one on Saturday, February 7th. SpaceX Falcon 9 returned to flight with the launch of Starlink Group 1733 out of Vandenberg. The mission successfully placed all 25 Starlink satellites into the LEO, low Earth orbit mega constellation. The upper stage is set to relit for the 3rd time and deorbit the spent craft. Take a minute to reset the repeater. W6RDZ back with the Colorado Astronomy Net Rocket Report. All right, Falcon 9s, as we reported last week, they were briefly grounded after Starlink 1732's Vandenberg launch. That was back on Monday, 5 days earlier. The launch successfully placed all its Starlinks into the correct orbit. However, the upper stage fallen engine failed to light a 3rd time and thus failed to deorbit the spent booster. The second stage successfully spaced itself, banning all propellants and volatiles, and discharging its batteries. It re-entered the Earth's atmosphere about 10.5 hours later over the South Indian Ocean. The FAA's incident report stated, quote, the FAA oversaw and accepted the findings of the SpaceX-led investigation. The final mishap report cites the probable root cause was the Falcon 9 Stage 2 engine failure to ignite prior to the deorbit burn. The FAA said in a statement, SpaceX identified technical and organizational preventative measures to avoid a reoccurrence of the event. The Falcon 9 vehicle is authorized to return to flight. SpaceX later revealed that the engine failed to ignite due to a bubble that formed in a purge line. Let's see, that does it for last week's launches. All right, upcoming launches this coming week. Launch cadence jumps now back up to 9 launches scheduled for the week so far by SpaceX. And 1 ULA and 1 ESA European launch. W6RDZ. All Falcon 9, launching from Vandenberg. Second launch tomorrow, also tomorrow, the 11th. This one at 23:30 Mountain Standard Time. China rocket hopes to launch, and that just goes payload on a Shilong 3 rocket from the Haigang Oriental Space Port in the South China Sea. Third launch on Thursday, February 12th at 01:30 Mountain Standard Time. United Launch Alliance anticipates the launch of a Vulcan Centaur rocket from the U.S. For the U.S. Space Force. The USSF D7 mission intends to place the GSSAT-7 and 6 satellites into near geosynchronous orbit. It's the fourth launch of ULA's Vulcan rocket and the first Vulcan launch of 2026. The two satellites, built by Northrop Grumman, are geosynchronous space situational awareness program satellites. These supporting the U.S. Space Command space surveillance operations. Fourth launch of the week, also on Thursday, February 12th at 01:52 Mountain Standard Time. Roscosmos intends to launch the LN5 mission. We're going to reset the repeater there. W6RDZ back with the Colorado Astronomy Net rocket report. Also on Thursday, February 12th. This one is Roll 152 Roscosmos intends to launch the Electro-LN5 mission on a Proton M-EM3 rocket from the Baikonur Cosmic Drome in Kazakhstan. The Electro-LN5 is a Russian geostationary weather satellite for this deployment. This launch was delayed from December 15th. This launch of the week, Thursday, February 12th at 09:45 Mountain Standard Time. Ariane Space plans to launch the Amazon LEO LEO-1 mission on an Ariane 6 rocket in the 4 strap-on booster configuration. That launching from ELA-4 at the Guiana Space Center in French Guiana. It's 32 Amazon LEO, formerly Project Kuiper, internet satellites will head to Amazon's mega constellation in low Earth orbit. And today, NASA pushed back the launch of the SpaceX Crew 12 mission that, again, for unfavorable weather conditions. The Crew Falcon 9 launch of the Crew Dragon capsule, sold with 4 astronauts, is now scheduled for Friday, February 13th at 03:15 Mountain Standard Time. The manned mission will launch from Split 40 Cape Canaveral Space Force Base. Reset the repeater there. W6RDZ back with the rocket report for the Colorado Astronomy Net. The crew consists of NASA astronauts, Commander Jack Hathaway, and pilot Jessica Meir, ESA mission specialist Sophie Denot, and Roscosmos' Andrei Medvedev. It will be SpaceX's 600th Falcon 9 mission. On Valentine's Day, September 14th at 1500, SpaceX is docking into launch Starlink Group 17-13 from Split 40 in Vandenberg Space Force Base. 8th launch of the week, Sunday, February 15th. SpaceX plans to launch again at 2200 I'm told, at 15:30 Mountain Standard Time. Additionally, of course, that following a successful wet dress rehearsal, the February launch was delayed as the rocket failed its first wet dress rehearsal due to hydrogen propellant leaks at the hydrogen rocket to ground interface coupler. This is the same problem that delayed Artemis 1 launch for 3 months some 3 years ago. The next wet dress rehearsal is tentatively scheduled for Friday, February 13th. The next launch window past that opens again on March 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then again a month later on April 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. All right, that brings us to a Starship update. Booster 9 completed all its testing, both for ambient pressure testing and cryogenic testing at the mass test site. It was rolled back to the assembly building for final launch preparations prior to stacking. SpaceX continued preparations and testing at Starbase Boca Chica, Texas for Starship Flight Test 12. Work continues on the V3 Starship and the new launch pad, Pad 2. Ship 39 is slated to launch top booster 19 for much anticipated Starship version 3. The new launch window is estimated no earlier than March 9th. All right. The W6RDC back with the rocket report. All right. Yeah. Third item on the news, Scientific American reports that SpaceX has filed plans with U.S. regulators to launch up to 1 million satellites into low Earth orbit. These to act as orbital data centers to power artificial intelligence. That they will probably fall into sun synchronous orbit or close to it to maximize the sunlight on the solar cell. You think it's crowded up there now? Just wait. Scientific American also reports that Elon Musk is changing the tack. Elon will now prioritize building a city on the moon over building a Mars colony, at least in the near term. Next news item: space launch schedule reports that Amazon has purchased an additional 10 Falcon 9 launches from SpaceX as part of the efforts to accelerate deployment of its broadband satellite constellation. All right. That's it. That's for tonight's rocket report. W6RDC. Rocket Man Ed wishes you a good night and phenomenal flight. Now, back to Starman Furnace at control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Okay, thanks for that, Ed. Appreciate it. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. A lot of good news in there. Yeah, kind of upsetting. 1 million satellites up there for AI, even if they are in sun sync. Definitely too many, too many. I definitely appreciate that. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll go ahead and see if there are any more check-ins before we go down the list. Anyone else wishing to check in to tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
Kilo Echo Zero, Lima, November uniform. Kilo Echo Zero, Lima, November uniform.
Okay, good evening to you, Matt. KE0LNU, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, now's the time for everyone else to contribute to that. Questions, comments, observation reports. What you've been doing in the last 30 years for astronomy, or the last, I don't know, 30 seconds, somewhere in between. I'd like to definitely hear that, because I know you. That should cover just about anything, and what you've experienced over the last 30 years, if you've been doing that, or just since you've just gotten into astronomy. Well, whether it's through the net or just getting a telescope out there and looking with the kids, or sharing it somewhere, or reading something online that piqued your interest, or what have you. It doesn't have to be 30 years ago. Whatever has happened, and like I said, anywhere, even further back, if you've been involved with astronomy, some of the your special moments even between then and 30 seconds ago. That should cover just about everything. Definitely like to hear. I've shared some of my things as well right now, but we're going to go to the top of the list and see what Moy has from Texas. N5ZIQ. Good evening to you, Moy. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Kilo Mike 7, Bravo Uniform Foxtrot. Kilo Mike 7, Bravo Uniform Foxtrot. Andrew, Psalms, Washington. Everybody's doing great. We are in a kind of a cloudy pattern here this evening in the Houston area, and waiting on a few possibly showers later on tonight. And here's a question for you, Mr. Morris. Did anybody have any report? I heard there was a unusual CME event that generated some additional aurora that was possible in some of the northern states. Did any reports come in after that?
Yeah, Moy, I did not hear of any. Did not hear of any. I know it had. I think that that was last week, and I think those CMEs were supposed to skim the Earth's atmosphere there. So I did not hear too much from it. And let me check. Let me check. What am I going to check? Sorry about that. Did I delete? No, I didn't. I'm looking here. Just a sec. Let me pull up a new thing and check spaceweather.com and check that out. Let's see. I have that up there. I'm not seeing anything from spaceweather.com on any CMEs. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. I'll get back to you in just a sec there, but yeah, I don't think we saw too much as far as that was concerned. I'm going to have to read a little bit more into it. And I'll go ahead and acknowledge Andrew, KM7BUF. Good evening to you, Andrew. Welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. since you are a new check-in to the net, I do appreciate that. I like to touch base with my first-time check-ins and find out a little bit more about your background interest in astronomy, whether you're just starting out, you've been doing it for 30 years, or somewhere in between, or a little bit more. Welcome. My name is Bernus. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra, and the call sign Kilowatt India Zero Alpha Romeo. Hopefully here you heard a little bit of what was going on for tonight, but definitely welcome. And right now we are in the last half of the net, and we're going down the list, but you're at the bottom. But because you are new to the net, I always like to touch base first, right off the bat, find out. Tell us a little bit about your interest, background in astronomy there, Andrew. KM7BUF, go ahead.
Hello, thank you. Again, Andrew, as the home mission. I appreciate the net. I'm new to it. I caught it late in the net. Probably been listening for about 5 or 10 minutes. My interest in astronomy goes back. I'm 42 years old, so it goes back to when I was probably 8. Obviously, I didn't get to see the first Apollo missions. I'm very excited to see the new Artemis ones. Been following SpaceX and Blue Origins, all that stuff, teaching my kids about it. Looking at planets in the sky, constellations, it's great. I love this new net, it's awesome. I live in Washington State, I'm a corrections officer in the state. And yeah, any other information you want to know, just ask, I'll be very more than happy to tell. Been licensed with my technicians since July of last year. KM7.
All right, Andrew. Welcome to the net. Do appreciate that for sure. We're kind of celebrating the 30th anniversary. I started this net in February 6th of 1996. Got some some more. Well, I started YouTubing recently, so I got some older nets there if you want to listen over on YouTube. And I've been doing astronomy since I grew up with the Apollo missions, things like that. So but definitely appreciate you checking in tonight. Stick around. We are going down the list, so if you hear something and we generate questions, we'll touch base with you again. Moy, check out spaceweather.com. There is another CME. Let's see, that on February 9th, yesterday, some interesting images on there. And kind of what happens when the sun ejects it kind of ahead of the Earth or on as it's going around, and we kind of fly through some of that stuff. So kind of interesting what we might expect as far as that's concerned coming up. Moy, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Roy up in Oregon, KI7PKL. Good evening to you, Roy. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
KI7PKL returning, and I had to wait for my note. Anyway, yeah, hey, it's a pretty nice evening here. It's tempting to take out the telescope. One of those nights, when it looks clear, but if you try it, it'll just be very sketchy. If you're tiny, it will be horrible. So anyway, I'm just sitting around here enjoying the net, and tomorrow might actually be a better night. Got a little bit of imaging in last week on Wednesday before the clouds kind of set in and stuff. But anyway, I was away from the hobby for a long, long time, over 30 years. But what I remember back in the day most was in a small town where I grew up, you could see all the stars and all the constellations. And 10 years later, oh yeah, I can only imagine what it looks like out there now. Probably not that much different from the way it looks here at my house. But I'm so thankful for the technology that we have today that allows us to do imaging from the city of all things. Was it thunder? Ernest, we'll send it back to you. This is GSM PKL.
All right, Roy. Yeah, I just remember grade school. 9 planets. Let's see. Saturn had 9 moons. Jupiter had 12. Saturn was the only one with rings. Things like rings. There you go. So much has evolved in the last half century, for that matter. Look at all the Mars probes that we've learned over the last 30 years as well. So, and all of that. We've flown helicopters on Mars. There you go. We've driven on Mars. There you go. Even though they were autonomous vehicles, they still drove and flew. So quite a bit. And we've talked a lot about that. Over the years. I kind of wished I had YouTube videos over the last 30 years. Boy, that would be a that would be a lot. That's for sure. All right, Roy. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Doug K0ATP. Good evening in Parker. Good evening to you, Doug. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, Bertus, and to everyone on the net. Can you hear me?
Solid copy, Doug. Go ahead.
Good evening, Bertus, and everyone on the net. I just put up a new antenna today, so can you give me a quick signal?
Quick signal. 5.9 plus. You're booming in there. Maybe just a slight bit of overmod. So just a little bit of scratch on there, but it might be your gain is up one more notch, but you're solid. No problems.
Yeah, okay, I think it's operator error because I have a really bad habit of swallowing the mic. It's too many years in aviation. Anyway, Cage ATP here, and I've been, I guess, a hobbyist in astronomy, very interested in astronomy. I do have a 8-inch Celestron, it's fantastic ring reflector. Does not have an equatorial mount, but it soon will have. But interested in dipping into celestial photography, but I have too many other expensive hobbies that are interfering with the hobby budget to buy a digital camera. I'm just old enough to remember the beginning of the space program. I missed Sputnik by probably 6 months or a year because I was too little, but I remember my dad would take his old military G-type receiver and turn it on and listen to it, but I have vague memories of that. But I remember, the monkeys, the dogs, and the X-15 and everything that went into the early stages of Mercury, and it's just been a fabulous journey, and I'm just so interested in learning more. And although I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, I dropped back and punted. You just got a degree in science and not engineering. Great. But being a participant, not only in the hobby, but in with the Astronomy Net, and of course, I have fond memories of going out to Missouri and watching the total solar eclipse with you and Rocket Man Ed. So that was some of the highlights of my astronomical studies, and I would like to wish you happy anniversary for all that you have done to the local Astronomy Net and Space Geeks. And one more reset. You mentioned a few
interesting numbers. I'm not sure if you mentioned any monikers, but I'm glad that Pluto I think is still recognized as a planet, but I learned a little bit later in life, I think it was from my son, who's interested in radio and astronomy, but it was my very energetic mother just served us 9 pizzas. And that does include Pluto. So if you put all those letters together in a sentence, that makes it really easy to remember all 9 planets. So a little fun trivia there. But anyway, everything's going well here in the ATP shack, and I'd like to pass it back to Net Control. I'd like to say 73 to everyone. K0ATP, I'm clear.
All right, Doug. Yeah, that was definitely fun chasing chasing that eclipse with Ed there. That was our second chase. I'd like to chase the one that's in Egypt in a couple of years. I don't think I might have to drag my wife along, but I don't think she wants to go anyway. But that would be a neat one to chase. A little longer drive there. All right, Doug. Thanks for the comments. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah, I'm like 5 months older than the Sputnik launch, so that's dating myself there as well. But appreciate the comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Randall up in Washington. AE7RJ. Good evening to you, Randall. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. All right, Steve, we got you checked in, KM6VAY. For those of you who are on YouTube and can't check in via radio, please post over in the chat window what your interests have been over the last 30 years or so that you'd like to share with the net, and I'll share that. Like I said, between 30 years and 30 seconds. Would love to hear your stories as well. So what your interests have been, some of your experiences throughout your lifetime, for that matter, that you go back as far as that's concerned. So definitely like to hear that. Let's see. Next, Mike in Oklahoma. K05AOK over on YouTube. If you want to post over there, I'd love to pass that along. Jimmy in Tennessee, Jimmy Farkle, new to the net over on YouTube. Hopefully, an amateur radio operator in the future. Definitely post your interests. What's interested you in astronomy over the years as well. Next on the list, Ed, W6RDZ. Good evening to you, Ed. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, Ken Furnace. Well, what I've got for the net is a big congratulations and your 30th anniversary. What a contribution, what a legacy. That is very impressive. Definitely want to celebrate that. Let's see, what else have I got? I think that's about everything. Just kind of this day, in astronomy, this 1958, a favorite year of mine. I would be born later that year. Don't remember this, but this was this date, February 10th.
All right, Ed. Thanks for sharing that. Yep. I was a little bit older, but still, yeah. Don't remember that one either. But thanks for sharing that, and appreciate your comments. Appreciate you doing the Rocky Report. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Abraham and Sterling, WX0ABE. Again, congrats on the call change as well. What have you got for us tonight, Abraham? Go ahead. All right, next on the list is Bruce out in Tennessee, K3HY. Good evening to you, Bruce. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Ken in Nevada, NV7SS. Good evening to you, Ken. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening there, Ernest. NV7SS here in Indian Springs, Nevada, where we've had clear skies all the time there, except for tonight. It's really cloudy outside, so I couldn't tell you what was up in the sky besides clouds right now, but it's just been too cold to get out there and look at anything there, Ernest, so haven't been doing too much stargazing and all that. But boy, I feel honored that I'm old enough that I remember the men walking on the moon for the first time, and I remember all that. And when I was a kid, I had a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and every time a newscast come on, I recorded the newscasts on the reel-to-reel tapes. I bet I had 30 tapes, those 6-inch tapes that they had back in them days. And I tell you, I don't know whatever happened to those tapes. I don't have them anymore. I wish I did. But anyway, yeah, I remember all those. Sputnik, no. I think I was only like 4 years old then. But I'd sure like to have remembered that too. But, oh well, I'm old enough. Anyway, there, Berners, thanks a lot. Thanks for being there. And thanks, Ed, for doing the Rocket Report. Appreciate that. Very interesting tonight. You take care, Berners, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for being there. And happy 30th there. NV7SS, back to you, Ernest.
All right, Ken. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's I had a notebook that I did research with back in college, and when I was teaching as a physics lab tech at the observatory, and I had the key to the 14-inch telescope out in Virginia Tech, and I did some research up there, and I sketched out I don't know how many galaxies in the galaxy cluster, things like that. Pages and pages of what I sketched out when I was looking at through the eyepiece. Unfortunately, I have no idea what happened to that. So I can definitely relate to the loss of those tapes. It's unfortunate that stuff that we might have wanted to keep have disappeared over the years. And some stuff that we still have, we wish we got it and gotten rid of. There you go. All right, Ken, appreciate you sharing that with us. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Howard down in Florida, KC4 ZYC. Good evening to you, Howard. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
In Avernus, good evening to you, KI0AR, KC4YC. Well, I do like the fact that moved to a much quieter area, and because of that, there's a lot less light pollution, especially in the evenings, and been treated to a really nice moon as of late. I don't know whether it's the harvest moon or which it's cold, but I do know it's full moon, and I can see it quite clearly on the time of evening. And I do appreciate the report on the moon there, so I know where to look and when to look and what phases it's going to be going into. And also the planets as well. That's definitely quite helpful. And with that, so I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you. Thanks for doing the net as always. Oh, but I was able to check in from Gainesville, Florida. KI0AR, KC4, this is YC.
All right, Howard, appreciate that. Yeah, the February full moon was on the 1st, and that was the full snow moon for us Northern Hemisphere observers. And we have the full moon coming up in March on the 3rd. That's the full worm moon. So there you go. They all got names. Thanks for sharing that with us and enjoying the moon. Right now we just passed 3rd quarter, so you'll have to get up early in the morning to see that waning crescent moon for the rest of next week, and then we got the new moon after that, and the waxing crescent, and then waxing gibbous after that. So definitely look forward to that. Always like to look at the moon in the early phases, right after new moon, those thin crescents, and looking along what they call the terminator. That's the line, the demarcation between light and dark, and look for the shadows that are lit up, and the shadows and peaks along that particular light line on the moon. All right, Howard, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Jack in Wheat Ridge, KE0VH. Good evening to you, Jack. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Okay, be sure to check out Jack's flight simulation tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time, on the YouTube, Captain Jack Flight Sim. It's interesting. You can fly along, and like I said, the simulation renders a lot of that stuff quite accurately. So definitely check that out. Yeah, Joseph Dockett over on YouTube. You're up next. Don't see anything over there from our fellow YouTubers over there. And but Do appreciate everybody over there listening on YouTube. So definitely give us a like if you haven't already. Subscribe and carry out. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next week for sure. Next on the list is Matt in Golden. KE0LNU. Good evening to you, Matt. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. All right, next on the list is Andrew up in Washington. KM7BUF. Good evening to you, Andrew. Again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening. Like I said, I'm new to this net. I caught the last 10 probably minutes of the transmission from check-in. This is one of the best nets I've been a part of. It's not just general rescue. It's something I am interested in. I really appreciate Big for the Net. When is the net scheduled for dates and times?
All right, Andrew. Definitely like to hear that. We meet Tuesday evenings, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That'll be 6 p.m. your time on Tuesday evenings on the SkyHub Link system of repeaters and well, everything else. Echolink, All-Star, DMR, a whole bunch of ways you can check in. Check out skyhublink.com for more information on that. But 6 p.m. Pacific time, Tuesday evenings. Looking forward to having you join us on a regular basis there, Andrew, for sure. Yeah, definitely a learning net. I've over the 30 years, I think I've learned something new just about every net. There were a couple of years when I was working in Seattle, so Snohomish, been up to the falls there, but I did have some subs in there and still learning something, was able to participate when I could. Definitely glad to have you on board tonight for sure. So thanks for that. Appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in too. Next on the list, Steve in Fort Collins checked in via YouTube. We'll see if he's on the air. Sometime he is, sometimes he's not. KM6VAY. Good evening to you, Steve. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Okay, nothing heard tonight. We are at the bottom of the list and still got a little bit more time for the net. Again, Andrew, we run for about 2 hours. It used to be an hour when I was local, but now that I branched out several years ago on the SkyHub Link system, it's definitely global. I think I've got 30 countries that have checked in. The last several years, and almost worked all states. I think I'm missing one or two. I'll have to look at my list and see which states I'm missing as far as the net is concerned here on SkyHub. but hopefully we'll get those eventually. Right now, this is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and open up the net for anybody else. Questions, comments, late check-ins before I go ahead and wrap up the net. If you are a late check-in, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins, please call KI0AR now.
Hey, Bernice, late comment for the net, KE0VH.
Go ahead, Jack. KE0VH. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Yeah, Bernice, I'd like to remind everybody that when they check into the net on YouTube, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It does help your YouTube channel. And I'd like to remind everybody that if you're listening by radio, it's kind of fun to have Bernice up on YouTube, because you can also see the charts and the diagrams and other things that he may happen to display on the channel there. So would highly encourage, even if you're listening by radio, unless you're mobile or at home, to go ahead and check out the YouTube presentation that Bernice has going on, and I think it will enhance your experience of the net. Anyway, Bernice, thanks a lot. Yeah, I hope to see you in Milan on the Captain Jack Flight Sim channel tomorrow night, and we'll do some cruising around there. 7:30, everybody. Good evening. Once again, thanks for being part of Sky Uplink. This is KE0VH in Wheat Ridge.
All right, Jack. Yeah, thanks for that plug. Yeah, hopefully we'll branch out a little bit more with the visual stuff. I'm still new to the YouTube scene, and thanks for that. Those PCs you gave me, I'm still working on one. One of them I couldn't get to stay on, so I don't know exactly what's going on with that one. That was the bigger one. The smaller one I've got up and running, putting some software on there as well. But still messing around with that. It's been a long time since I messed around with getting PCs set up. I'm a Mac guy, so I'm turning to the dark side, so to speak. Or maybe the other people say, I'm on the dark side already. I'm turning over to the light. I don't know which. All depends on your perspective there. But appreciate you getting that, and I'll see what we can do in the future there. You definitely have to come over, and we'll sit down for, we might have to wait till you retire for that, Jack. We'll see. But definitely appreciate your comments there. Appreciate you checking in. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins, please call KI0AR now.
KE0LNU with astronomy, I believe, question.
K0LNU. Go ahead, Matt.
Charlie X-ray Paul in North Carolina, late check-in. All right, and hopefully you got that late check-in. Hey, I did want to say, though, as far as my experience with astronomy, I was lucky enough that my middle school, I was born 6 months after the first man on the moon. My middle school had a planetarium, so we had space science class, for 7th and 8th grade. Man, I used to be able to name, I don't know, some 60 or 70 planets. It was really cool. But the other night, I was outside. We were backpacking, and so I had, very little light in terms of pollution. And we were able to see the stars. It was funny. The Pleiades, which are some of my favorites, I could only see if I didn't look at them directly. And I wasn't sure if there was a name for that, or if there's a way around it. It seemed like I could only see it if it was looking out of the corner of my eye. So thanks for having the net. Congratulations on 30 years, Vernon. KE0LNU, back to net control.
All right, Matt, yeah, I'll comment in a sec. Let me, Paul, we got you on the list, KO4 WCX. Stand by. I'll get you after I make comments to Matt there. Yeah, the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters, or more appropriately, the flies, as you can imagine, on the back of the bull's back, or on the bull's back, so to speak. Under good dark sky conditions, you might be able to pick out about 7 stars in that little open cluster of stars. It does look like a very mini, very mini dipper, more like a teaspoon, so to speak, up there. Definitely point your binoculars or a telescope up into that region, and you'll see some of the stars much better. Maybe a little bit of wisps in there, some of the gas and dust around them as well, if you're lucky. Not quite what you see in the photos, images that you see of the Pleiades, but check out Subaru is the Japanese name, and any of the Subarus that you drive around, that's the emblem. The Seven Sisters, the Pleiades, they use that for their emblem on the cars there. So take a look at that. Definitely one of the interesting asterisms up there in the night sky in the constellation of Taurus, towards the right along the ecliptic there, towards the south. Always a pleasant sight to see through binoculars or especially a telescope there. And then you can see a whole bunch more as well through a scope for sure. All right, Matt, appreciate you asking about that for sure. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Paul, KO4 WCX, thanks for checking in. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, Bernard. Good evening, everyone on the net. KO4WCX, Paul here. I came in a little bit late, but I did hear some discussion about coming of age in the space age. For me, I guess I was only about 2 weeks old when Sputnik flew, so I do not remember that. But I do remember when the Gemini missions and the Apollo, of course, the moon landings, all of that. I can recall that pretty well. In terms of observations lately, I haven't been out getting out too much. It's been very cold here, but I did go out one night. Last week, the lunar eclipse Regulus in this part of the country, and I thought, well, maybe I'd try to actually photograph that thing. So I mounted my iPhone on my telescope on top of an eyepiece, an afocal configuration, and iPhone's not so good for taking pictures, a lot of noise, but I was able to actually capture Regulus, a tiny pinpoint dot against a real bright moon. I don't think I'm converted to astrophotography. I think I will stick with that, particularly if Elon Musk gets his way and does put in 500 million satellites or whatever it is up in the sky. I see plenty of those already passing my field of view. So anyway, that's about all I've got. This is KO4W6 Paul. That makes you Bernard Snow, by the way. Congratulations on 30 years. 7-3.
All right, Paul. Thanks for that. Yeah, we were talking about some of the big changes in astronomy over the last 30 years. From observational to digital and all the stuff that exoplanets, theoretical, to over 5,500 discovered so far, and if there's a star up there, it's probably got planets, at least one. And so they've definitely said that for sure. Um, but yeah, so many changes in the last 30 years. And one reason I've enjoyed doing the net over the years is for the learning experience, even my learning experience as well. What's up there, and talking to you guys about it, and seeing what everybody else has to offer and to share to the net. So do appreciate that. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. All right, one last call. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins before I go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening? Please call KI0AR now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Victor X-Ray Oscar, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Victor X-Ray Oscar for a late check-in from Crook, Colorado.
Okay, good evening to you, Mark. KF0VXO, thanks for checking in tonight. What have you got for us tonight?
Nothing major to add to the net. I just want to say congratulations on 30 years. That's amazing, and keep up the great work. And I hope to have many, many more in the future. And I'll be here checking in, either via radio or on the YouTube. So love the net and love what you're doing, and I'm a big supporter of it. So keep up the good work. KS0VXO, back to you, sir.
All right, Mark, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot for see if I can get another 30 years in. That'd be great. We'll see. Yeah, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening. Let's see. Let's see. Thanks to the 18 check-ins. Do appreciate it tonight. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0200 Zulu, Wednesday, for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net on the SkyHub Link system, skyhublink.com. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for the use of their repeater systems. Thank the SkyHub Link group for the use of their systems as well, and all the ways that you guys can check into the net tonight. So I appreciate that. With that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.
Hey, Ernest, real quick before you get away from K0VHL, we've got to get together and get your new computer going, and then try to do a few things with your OBS and everything. I think you'll like it. By the way, the new repeater is, I was hoping Mike